Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Curseof and welcome back to another video. Today we're here for another casual Tuesday deck profile. And today we got the deck that I promised you to complete the trio of decks. We have our Red Eyes Black Dragon deck here, which conveniently ends up being best as a Red Eyes Whale deck. So the person who suggested I do a Fortress Whale deck, here you go. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on into the video. Before I go any further into this video, I'd like to ask you guys that if you do enjoy my content, and if you enjoy this video at the end of it, please hit that subscribe button. According to my channel analytics, 69.6 of you who've watched my videos in the last 28 days are not subscribed. That is a astounding percent of you guys. So if you want to take that little bit of extra time to hit that subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. But anyway, let's get into the video. So, starting off with the skill here, we have none other than the Ritual Ceremony Emma skill to start off. So for those of you who do not know what this skill does, it basically says reveal a ritual monster in your hand and add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand that is able to ritual summon that ritual monster. Meaning that it has the ability to actually search something like Advanced Ritual Art, which is obviously super relevant for this deck. So Ritual Ceremony, amazing skill, definitely the skill you need to run in the Red Eyes Whale deck. Moving off into the monsters of the deck here, we have 3 copies of Fortress Whale himself. I can assure you guys that the ritual monsters underneath the top Fortress Whale are also Fortress Whales. But anyway, so yeah, you need 3 copies of Fortress Whale in this deck. It is basically the primary boss monster of the deck, and yeah, you basically go with Fortress Whale because it is the best level 7 ritual monster, meaning that it is the best way to dump your Red Eyes Black Dragon into the graveyard. You're going to obviously use Ritual Ceremony in conjunction with your Fortress Whale to get your Advanced Ritual Art, and use that to send a Red Eyes Black Dragon to special summon your Fortress Whale. That is like the primary combo of the deck. So we run 2 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon. You might be like, well, why not 3? Why not 1? 1 becomes an issue because if you draw it, well, your Advanced Ritual Art is just dead. And 3 becomes an issue because you're just taking up extra space in your deck that isn't necessary. Red Eyes Spirit is always live as long as you have a Red Eyes in graveyard. So how many you have in graveyard is completely irrelevant. So I found the best ratio to be 2 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon. So that is what we are rocking out with here. Moving on to the next monster of the deck, we run 3 copies of Senju of the 10,000 Hands. Senju is honestly just the overall superior ritual monster to Sonic Bird, especially in speed duels. I mean, for the Relinquish deck, you just don't need the ritual spell, and when you're playing Ritual Ceremony as your skill, Senju is basically just a monster that searches the monster and the spell all in one go. You do not need to run any Sonic Bird when you have Ritual Ceremony, because as long as you have access to the monster, you have access to the spell. Yes, it's once per duel, but honestly, you really only tend to summon the monster once anyway. If you can summon it twice, awesome, but Ritual Ceremony is the way to go 100% of the time, and 3 copies of Senju. You don't need Sonic Bird. Don't play it. It's honestly just a waste of space and a waste of time to put it in your deck. Going off into the final monster of the deck here, this one is very spicy. We have 2 copies of Master Craftsman Gamil. This is something that we basically never ever see playing, but this card is actually very powerful in the Ritual or the Red Eyes Whale deck, and I'm going to explain to you guys why. Obviously, the format we are in is a Conflict Warrior format where Jinzo is absolutely extremely powerful. It's a 2400 beat stick that shuts down all traps. And sadly for us, I told you they're all Fortress Whales, guys. Don't worry about that. Our Fortress Whale is a 2350 attack beat stick, meaning Jinzo is able to swing over it. We're just those 50 life points short. But Master Craftsman Gamil is a hand trap that activates during the damage step that will buff your Fortress Whale by 300 points, meaning that your Fortress Whale is actually able to either swing over Jinzo, or if they swing Jinzo into your Fortress Whale, you get to activate this and basically kill their Jinzo. It is something that actually happens a lot more often than you would actually expect, and is very, very powerful. We only run 2 because it's basically only useful in this matchup, but still worth main decking because Conflict Warrior is obviously the best deck of the format. So you do run your 2 copies of your Master Craftsman Gamil in the deck here. A lot of you guys also might think, why play Master Craftsman over Sphere Kuriboh? Master Craftsman is only good if you have Fortress Whale on the field. Well, you know, Sphere Kuriboh is just always live. Well, the reason being, if you actually look at our monsters here, we have 1400 attacks in Senju, we have 2400 attacks in Red Eyes, but can only be brought back by a trap that Jinzo shuts down, and we have 2350 attack Fortress Whale, meaning the only monster that is ever going to be swinging over a Jinzo on the field is going to be Fortress Whale. So spinning Jinzo to defense is basically just as usable as just buffing your monster when they attack with a Master Craftsman Gamil, but they're going to have less opportunity to actually respond, and you're basically much more likely to actually kill their Jinzo. And because of that, Gamil is actually the superior hand trap in this deck over Sphere Kuriboh. Moving off into the spells here, obviously Gamil is our replacement for the Sphere Kuriboh answer to Jinzo. Going on into the next answer to Jinzo, as I feel like you should probably run at least 5 to avoid these OTKs, you run 3 copies of Offerings to the Doomed. Honestly, probably like just the best staple in this format. Offerings to the Doomed is just basically a free quick play spell, pop, it answers Jinzo, it answers Moth, it answers any problematic monsters on the field. Fantastic card. Definitely necessary as a 3-of in almost every single deck. Next up for the spells here, we have our ritual spells, that being 2 copies of Advanced Ritual Art to dump those Red Eyes Black Dragons, and 1 copy of Fortress Whale's Oath. Basically, you don't need more than these 3 ritual spells because you're never going to summon more than 3 Fortress Whales ever. You don't need more than 2 copies of Ritual Art, because you only run 2 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon, so you can only activate 2. And Fortress Whale's Oath combos off with Red Eyes Spirit. If you bring back a Red Eyes, you can tribute it off with Fortress Whale's Oath to summon your Fortress Whale. In what scenario would you want to tribute off your Red Eyes for a Fortress Whale? I'm not really sure. Maybe if your opponent's running Umi? But, yeah, not very often are you actually going to want to use Oath. I actually tend to side it out a lot. But it's there. It exists. It's a card. Sometimes it can be usable, especially if you hard draw into one of your Red Eyes. So we do run the 1 copy of Oath, just in case. But yeah, like I said, you do not need any more than these 3 ritual spells because you're not going to summon them more than 3 times. And you don't need to draw into them because Ritual Ceremony will search for a ritual spell once per duel, so 3 is a perfect number just to maximize the amount of times you can summon your Fortress Whale and not be overly cloggy with ritual spells. Finally, moving off into the trap cards here, we run 3 copies of Red Eyes Spirit. Obviously, this is your Red Eyes turbo card in the deck. This is how you get Red Eyes Black Dragon onto the field consistently, and you obviously dump it with your Advanced Ritual Art. And then finally, we run 1 copy of Dust Tornado, as back row is a pretty decent problem for this deck, but we just don't have the deck space for more options in the main deck. So we only have 1 Dust Tornado in the main, but yeah, it is what it is. Also, I will show you guys basically the combo that counters Conflict with this deck at the end of the video, so please stay tuned for that. So that will conclude the main deck of this deck. Moving off into the side deck here, we're going to start off by answering these stall burn strategies by playing one copy of Yugioh Boy in the side deck. Yugioh Boy negates all trap cards. Fantastic. Great card. You got to play him. He is your answer to those stall burn strategies. No Nightmare Wheels, no Zomas. Don't got to worry about it. Yugioh is a fantastic card and definitely very, very necessary. I also said that Master Craftsman Gamil is only at 2 in the main deck because you're not always going to run into Conflict Warrior, but it is the best deck in the format, so we do need another answer to Conflict Warrior, so we do run a third copy of Master Craftsman Gamil in the side deck here. Like I said, I will show you the combo to basically almost guarantee you're going to kill your opponent's Yugioh with this card at the end of the video. Like I said, this deck does struggle decently with back row, so we run 2 copies of Dust Tornado. This is also very helpful versus Moth, because this deck probably loses 90% of the time to Moth. And with that in mind, we also side deck 2 copies of Zoma the Spirit to round off our side deck here. Going into the extra deck, we just have the standard extra deck, the Blue Eyes Ultimate, the Arcana Knight Joker, the Gaia the Dragon Champion, the Ryu Senshi, Alligator Sword Dragon, and Thousand Eyes Restrict. They have no purpose in the deck, but you always run an extra deck basically just in case you can bluff your opponent into thinking you have access to it. So, we're here to the combo section of the video. Like I said, I'd give you guys the combo that basically is your primary out to your opponent's OTK with Yugioh or whatever. Basically just an out to their Yugioh, assuming you don't have a copy of Offerings to the Doomed. And basically you need these 3 cards in your hand, a Red Eye Spirit, any access to Fortress Whale, whether it be your Senju or whatever, and your Master Craftsman Gamil. This 4th card is irrelevant and can be anything at all. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to flip up your Ritual Ceremony, you're going to reveal to your opponent your Fortress Whale, and you're going to search for the copy of Advanced Ritual Art from your deck to your hand. After that, you're going to burn your Advanced Ritual Art, dumping a Red Eyes Black Dragon to the graveyard in order to Ritual Summon your Fortress Whale directly from your hand here. After that, you're going to set your Red Eyes Spirit in the back row and do whatever you can do with your very last card, and you are going to pass your turn. At first glance, this doesn't seem like much, but obviously if you see Bakura, you're feeling pretty confident that your opponent is playing the whole inner conflict Yugioh strategy. So when your opponent gets to their main phase, you are going to fire off your Red Eyes Spirit, reviving your Red Eyes Black Dragon from your graveyard. Why you fire it off in the standby phase is obviously the way skills work is they're in basically an open game state where you cannot respond to anything your opponent's doing. So you need to have your Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field and your Red Eyes Spirit burnt before they summon their Yugioh Boy. At this point they might conflict you, and that's exactly what you're actually hoping for in this situation. They'll conflict and they're naturally going to take your Red Eyes Black Dragon, tribute that off, and they're going to summon their own copy of Yugioh on their field here. So you got your single little Fortress Whale, and a Yugioh is staring it down. They know Yugioh can swing over Fortress Whale. They're not going to Offerings it. That'd be a waste of an Offerings to the Doomed. They are going to enter battle phase after setting their back row or whatever they need to do, and they're going to swing into your Fortress Whale. At this point, you say, damage step, and you Master Craftsman Gamil them. Because you use Master Craftsman, it is a damage step card. They can only respond with other attack altering effects, and 9 times out of 10, they are not going to have these attack altering effects, and they're going to crash their Yugioh into your Fortress Whale. Their Yugioh hits the grave, and you manage to survive with 1 extra card in hand, and you were able to take out their whole skill play, which is absolutely phenomenal. At this point, You're already set up with a Red Eyes, Black Dragon, and Graveyard, so more Red Eyes Spirits is just going to allow you to basically beat down your opponent. And yeah, you're basically now in control of the duel with your Fortress Whale on field, and full life points, well, they are down 2,250. So, this is what I have discovered to be the very best Red Eyes build for this current Speed Duel format. It is basically set up to handle the Conflict Warrior matchup as best as possible. And yes, that combo is a 3-card combo, so it's not super easy to pull off. But if you open it, you're basically feeling fantastic versus the Conflict Warrior matchup, and you are ready to actually have a very, very high likelihood of winning the game. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. I am doing bi-daily uploads at the bare minimum, and I am doing these casual deck profiles every single Tuesday up until the release of the Speed Duel Battle City box. So if this intrigues you in any way, shape, or form, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and yeah, I'll catch you guys, if not tomorrow, the following day for another video. That's a wrap, guys. Peace.